Hey, my friends, I'm here to share some cosmic wisdom for Virgo season. So, the sun moves into 0 degrees of Virgo on August 23rd this year at about 5 a.m. New York Eastern Time. Virgo is the sign that relates to being very detailed, specific, precise. Virgo is very discerning between right and wrong. It's very orderly and perfectionistic. This is where this belongs. This is where this belongs. This is how to do something the right way, the proper way. Virgo can be at its very best, very, very helpful, very organized, an excellent manager, an excellent fact checker, an analyst, get all the information, go through it with a fine-tooth comb, organize it, sort it, put it back out in a format that others can make use of it. So Virgo, very helpful. At its, shadow side, at its worst, Virgo could be extremely nitpicky, which can come off as very judgmental. Nobody can do this the right way except for me, a little bit of that. But really, Virgo is very much about service. Virgo also has an association with health, well-being, and anything that is part of our daily routine. The daily things that we do, from our sleep to our food, our exercise, our hygiene, our to-do list, what there is to get done in a given day, the going to work, the getting the groceries purchased and put away, doing the laundry, cleaning the house. It's very much about how we live our lives on a daily basis. And there needs to be a very grounded, practical, orderly way that we manage all of those daily routines for ourselves. Okay, so here's what I have for you for Virgo season. Some of you may hate this. I'm just calling it as it is. I know from my clients that some clients hate making lists. It is not their thing. This may not be your thing, but I'm going to encourage you to listen anyway, and maybe just try this on this month and see how it fits. Maybe there's a new skill here that can support you to be really successful and organized and managed in your life that you haven't attempted before or given real structure to. So let's just keep an open mind. Here's what I have for you. I love making lists. I love lists. Um, Here's why. I tend to be someone who has a very, very active or overactive mind. Okay. So if you're one of somebody like me who thinks about things a lot, you have a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts that come through your head in a given day, and sometimes you tend to recycle and ruminate over those thoughts. Making lists is an amazing way to get your thoughts out of your head into the world in a very tangible way. I can put my pen to the paper, I can touch it, I can feel it, I can see it outside, external to my brain. Okay. So the one positive thing that does is it creates a real place where something exists, where instead of having to worry about it, think about it, remember it internally, it now lives somewhere that you can find it and go back to it, which reduces your stress and anxiety of the need to hold on to it in a purely intellectual, mental activity way. Okay. What I also love about lists is that lists do create a certain structure that keep you accountable. Okay. Because it shows you the step by step by step, or the multiple items, or the things that you have said or chosen to record for whatever reason, however that meets your purpose or your goals. That existing there serves as an accountability partner for yourself, right? And I'm a huge fan of having real accountability partners, a friend, a partner, a sibling, somebody, a coach, who you can express things to, who's going to write something down, take a note or record of it, or also keep track of your intentions, your goals, the things you've said, and can feed that back to you as a mirror. Well, a list is something that does that. A list can be a mirror for you for your own intentions. All right, I'm going to share some of my favorite lists with you. Maybe the only list you've ever worked with is a to-do list. Okay, a to-do list can be very positive. I mean, I use to-do lists every day. I really enjoy my to-do list because it helps again, like it gives structure to my day. These are the things that I need to get done. And I'm not rigid about it in the sense, and here's I think where sometimes this depends on you and your mindset around how you view your list. If you view your list as a fixed permanent thing, once you've created it, it must be done or you're somehow a failure, then I could see why you would hate lists because now lists are holding you accountable, but in a very taskmaster, punitive way that feels there's a negativity to that. And then there's an added stress. Oh my God, if I don't get this done, then I'm terrible and I've let myself down and why can't I? And blah, blah, blah. Negative self-talk. That's not how I relate to my list. I relate to my list as these are all the things that I intend to work on today to get done today. Maybe certain of those things are really urgent and time bound that must be completed today. You can put an asterisk next to those. You can highlight those. You can just know that those are at the top of the list. And then there are other things on my list today that I intend and want to get done and will make an effort to do. But if it doesn't get done today, it can follow over till tomorrow. It's not urgent. Okay. And I'm not punishing about the way I do that. Um, so on my day-to-day list, on your day-to-day list, it might be things like, oh, I need to call the doctor and schedule that appointment. I need to pick up this ingredient so I can make this for dinner. I need to cook that for dinner. I need to call my mom. I need to exercise today, whatever today's exercise routine is, so, you could be as specific as you want. That's a to-do list. Okay, some of you may also have experience with other lists like a packing list. You're going to go on vacation. I don't want to forget my charger, my whatever it is. And you're going to make a list of all the things you need to remember to pack and what you might need to do when you leave the house. Oh, shut the windows and make sure the toilet is flushed and make sure I lock the door. Okay. Some of you may have a bucket list. Now, a bucket list is a very different kind of list because it's really aspirational. It's more big picture and it really speaks to your ideals and your values and something that feels very important to you. That at some point in my life, not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not this year, but at some point in my life, I have an intention to complete this because it matters to me. And I really like bucket lists as well. But now I want to talk about a whole other class of lists, which maybe you've never given consideration to and might be really fun for you. So kind of low-hanging fruit, fun, easy list to do. I tend to keep lists. Some lists I have in paper and some I keep in my phone. So if your phone has a notes app, you can totally use your phone for this. So one list I keep in my phone is books to read. So people suggest books to me all the time. I'm an avid reader. I love to read. I love to learn. People suggest movies or Netflix series to me or music to listen to. So I have a list. I actually have several lists. One list is just books to read. Another list is for movies and Netflix. And another list is for music to check out. So those are super fun lists. So it exists again, somebody mentions it to you and you have a place to put it. And instead of just putting it somewhere random, mushed up with other things, it's organized and it exists in an organized way. I can always go back and say, what should I read next? Oh, I have a list of things that I'm waiting to read. I know exactly where to look for that. And it exists somewhere that supports my success and my joy. Okay, speaking of joy, I keep a list of things that I know contribute to my joy and happiness. I love doing this exercise with clients of mine in coaching because there are times when people feel very stuck and very frustrated in their lives and why me and why are these things happening and this is so hard. Life can be really hard. That's a truth of life. Sometimes life is really hard and we tend to overly focus on what's hard, what's challenging, what's negative, what I have not yet gotten through or accomplished. And to counterbalance and create like another perspective, a shift of perspective, you know that I'm a huge fan of gratitude practice. It is my core, most fundamental spiritual practice for well-being is a gratitude practice, which in and of itself could be a list, right? Neuroscience, a while ago, they said, oh, just list on a daily basis, list 3 things you're grateful for. And that was trending for a while on Facebook, and everybody was like, 3 things. I keep a gratitude journal. I don't really do that as a list per se, more like a free flow journal of everything I'm grateful for. I practice that at night. I have a different sort of gratitude practice in the morning, which is more of a prayer, what I'm grateful for, to be alive, my body, my health, my everything that I can name. But you could make a gratitude list. But going back to the joy list, what do you know contributes to your joy? I know that when I put on music and I start shimmying and swaying and moving my body, that brings me joy. I know that beauty, being outdoors in natural beauty, brings me immense joy. I know that when I really reflect on how fortunate I am to have really, really amazing family and friends and a support system and loved ones and people who I cherish and cherish me, it brings me into my heart in a place of joy, right? Whatever else I'm struggling with becomes less bad, right? It's like, oh, joy, joy, joy. So I would encourage you, create a list. What brings you joy? Doing the crossword puzzle, you know, going to the opera, walking around in a new town that you've never explored before, having an amazing cup of coffee. If those things bring you joy, it goes on the list. And the more things you could add to that list, the better. And here's how you'd use this as an accountability mirror for yourself, to remind yourself of something you can do to bring yourself into a new state of being when you need it the most, right? But when you have that list handy and available to you, it now becomes a tool and a resource that you can use in an active way. All right, because we're in Virgo season, and I told you that there is a big focus on health and well-being and routines around that, I'm also going to suggest that a wonderful kind of list to have is a list of healthy habits. We all know lots and lots of healthy habits, but I'm going to just expand it a little more. When I think about healthy habits, I'm really thinking about well-being. And to me, well-being is absolutely physical well-being, but there's also emotional well-being, mental and intellectual well-being, as well as spiritual well-being. So I have a list. I actually use an app for this on my phone. It's called Habit Tracker. There are so many of them. You can search whatever phone you have, in the App Store for like a daily habit kind of app. This app allows you to enter the habit, and if you have very specific goals around it, you can enter that as well. If it's just like a check, yes, I've done it. If it's how many minutes or how many, like a number of something, you can add that. So I have in this app, I have physical goals, I have spiritual goals, all these things for daily habits of wellness. And as an example, I have lifting weights and treadmill, walking, yoga, massage, stretching, Tai Chi, Qigong practice, Kriya, breathwork practice, meditation is in there, prayer is in there. Again, that's more spiritual, mental, emotional, maybe than physical. Laughter is one of my habits. So here's the thing, eating fruits and vegetables. Am I getting enough fruits and vegetables? What else do I have in there? Romance is in there, dancing, anything that feels like it's oh, I have like dry brushing my skin and exfoliating. You can put anything you want that contributes to your well-being, to your well-being. If for you, something that contributes to your well-being is sitting outside and getting sun on your face for 5 minutes a day, you can make that a line item in your habit tracker. And what happens is each day I go through at the end of the day, or actually during the day, sometimes I do a workout and I've done my core and I've done abs, I've done weights and I've done cardio, and then I stretched and I did some, whatever it is, and I'll go in and I'll check it all off. Right. And throughout the day, I'll check everything off. And you can track what you haven't done. This will show you what you've sort of dropped out, neglected, that would be healthy for you. You have a commitment to do, but you notice, oh, I haven't actually laughed in 4 days. Why haven't I laughed? I need to watch a funny movie or get together or call a friend who I know we can have a fun time. And if that's something you really want as a habit, right? It reminds you of the things you want to have intention around cultivating. So for the month of Virgo, Um, Again, play with some kind of list making and coming back to it and adding to it and using it as an accountability tool. I would love to hear what other lists you enjoy keeping. Oh, here's a fun one. I keep a list in my phone of really good karaoke songs that I could sing at karaoke if and when I'm brave enough to go out and do karaoke. I keep track of fun songs that I know I could sing and belt out and that I'd have a great time. So like silly, silly fun lists. What lists are you making? How do they support you? Please leave comments below. I would love to hear from you. If you're interested in exploring this work with me in a one-on-one capacity, you know how to reach out to me. I would love to do this work of exploring what brings you joy. What are your big picture goals? What are your smaller chunk down goals? What are your wellness goals? And how we can support you to accomplish those. All right. Have an amazing month. I'll see you next month, guys.